So it's very obvious to notice that there has been a strict shift in men and what it is to be called a man in today's time. With the social climate changing along with political correctness, it's clear to see that today society breeds weak men. And throughout our childhood, our nature to compete and to stand up for oneself is barely encouraged or supported, but rather suppressed and disciplined. It's understandably true that we are living in better times than before, and men no longer have to have certain attributes to be successful in life. But I would argue everything goes hand in hand. Men more than women are more interested in competing for status and power, which result to a dopamine high and create more testosterone. Testosterone which has been declining since the 1970s. And there are many factors for testosterone declining. There's been an avid push that masculinity is a social construct and is very much toxic and no longer needed to exist. Throughout time, masculinity stemmed from tribalism, what a man could provide and do for his tribe. They were socially bribed to go out and fight for a cause, and if they died, they would have glory. Males were often seen to be sacrificed in order for us to live. Things like courage, strength, and mastery were amongst the most masculine traits in order for civilizations to survive. Basically, providing, protecting, and competing were the main objectives of being a man. Any time in history where masculinity declined, nations have been overthrown or destroyed. As the saying goes, hard time creates strong men create good times, and good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. And I think as a society, we are in the weak men phase, where the hardest of times are yet to come if people do not educate themselves. Personally, I think when the feminist movement started, it had great intentions of giving women opportunity to get educated or to work, along with some other benefits. But more recently, it's becoming a more radical push of anti-masculinity, where we're oblivious to the alarming rates and issues that men face. Things like higher rates of school dropouts, mental health issues, 80% higher rates of suicide, 71% higher rates of homelessness, and the list just goes on and on. So what is contributing to all of this? One can say the lack of males, especially strong male figures in a boy's life, has a lot to do with this. I think it starts very early in life, where developed countries have a high rate of divorce, which often leaves kids without their fathers. Now both girls and boys suffer from fatherless homes, but for this video we're mainly going to focus on the effects it has on boys. Father figures are the ones who provide the whole structure at home, and without a strong male present in a boy's life, he ends up running on his emotions and hormones, most of which he doesn't even understand or even knows how to control. This usually ends up in boys involving in street activity or doing some type of crime. If you look at jails and prisons, it's the epicenter of not only men, but men who grew up without their fathers. Similarly, in the education system, it's a predominantly female institution, and there are many studies shown that boys do better in school when they are taught by a male teacher. I personally can look back and can attest to this when I was a student that male teachers had more of authority and more of a student retention than female teachers, especially when students were acting up. But we are going from a dad deprivation at home to now a male deprivation at school. And some of these modern day teachers are just indoctrinating our kids with some bullshit.
That my room does not have a flag. It used to be there, but I took it down during COVID because it made me uncomfortable. In the meantime, I tell this kid, we do have a flag in the class that you can pledge your allegiance to. And he like looks around and he goes, oh, that one? As well as the inclusive pride flag. I pledge allegiance to the queers.
Keep in mind that this is an elementary school teacher. She is teaching, influencing young kids whose minds are not developed yet. And I personally have nothing against LGBTQ people, but when it comes to schools, I think they should keep it strictly reading, writing, science, and arithmetic. Nothing else of political nature. But this is the modern day teacher and modern day climate of celebs and media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. Wherever these kids divert their attention to, they are constantly influenced by feminine behavior before their brains are even developed. So the damage is done and it's progressing. Most of these young boys will grow up sexually confused, depressed, and indecisive because they're too in touch with their feminine side and that they don't understand who they truly are. Same thing happens in dating and relationships. Young girls give into trends of social media and date these feminine men, but when they get older and into the real world, they end up feeling dissatisfied and unhappy because they can't find a masculine man. A guy who makes the decision, a man who leads, who provides, who is confident and firm. Things like courage to take risks when there's a high chance of failure, strength when you get knocked down but you still get back up, and mastery after hours and hours of beating on your craft. These are skills that made a man have honor and respect to the tribe. Other men looked up to be like this person, and women out to attain him as a partner. But nowadays we have too much pleasure without purpose, where we have things like junk food and pornography at our fingertips, which I think is a huge causation of the modern day decline in masculinity. Society has given access to too much pleasure before purpose, when it should be reversed, purpose before pleasure. When a man lacks a purpose, he declines in all aspects of life, and can get very easily addicted, comfortable, and complacent. One of the main reasons I think young men's suicide rate is 6 times higher than women. They don't know who they are, and they lack a sense of purpose. The lack of masculine men has caused disarray and has pushed women to accelerate their masculine side, which is going against the very nature of a woman, who wasn't designed to function this way. This can be catastrophic to society, as masculinity is what provides safety and protection, not to declare war, but to always be ready for it. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you like the modern day social climate of masculinity? And where do you think society is headed? As always, I do want to encourage you all to like and subscribe to my channel. I got a lot more videos coming out, so stay tuned guys. Take care and peace out.